But why is this syrup so efficient and powerful? This natural remedy is the perfect combo for opening, reducing inflammation, and cleansing, which makes it outstanding. That's why it goes one step further. This makes it a more complete support for respiratory conditions ranging from a common cold to bronchitis, asthma, or pulmonary emphysema. In fact, there are many people nowadays who are looking for a natural relief for cough. For sore throat, for phlegm, for catarrh, whether it's chronic or caused by smoking, for nasal drip, or even many people need deep respiratory support, relief for conditions like asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia, and chronic allergies. That's why today I want to share with you how to make a natural syrup which is much more powerful than the ones traditionally known because it's a potent bronchodilator. Especially thanks to lambai, which helps relax and open the airways, making it easier to breathe and relieving that feeling of shortness of breath or wheezing that sometimes comes with cough, asthma, and bronchitis. I received it from generation to generation, and today I want to share it with you. We are going to prepare the recipe with all the tricks and details to keep in mind, and I promise you that it will truly be a natural, simple, and effective solution. So, before I tell you more about this syrup, let's go to the magic of the kitchen and prepare it. It's very easy to make and you'll have it ready in your natural medicine cabinet. For this recipe, we'll use half a liter of filtered water and bring it to a boil.
It boiled.
We add 50 grams of embauche leaves. And we're going to add 7 loquat leaves, although some are smaller, the bigger ones. We'll lower the heat to the minimum. We're going to put the lid on to take advantage of the steam as well. And we're going to leave it for about 10 minutes. It's going to reduce a little. Meanwhile, let's make a caramel using 200 grams of sugar. Whole or muscovado sugar works even better, and if not, just use whatever sugar you have. If you're enjoying this video and find the information valuable and want to show your support, it's easy. You can click and leave a thumbs up. A comment, no matter how small. And of course, the most valuable thing for us is to share it with those people you feel could really benefit from this. This is done over low heat. Here we go. I'm going to leave the heat on low and we're going to make the caramel slowly until it turns golden. What we have to make sure of is that it doesn't burn, that it doesn't turn black, because that way the syrup won't become bitter. When I make caramel, I try not to stir the sugar too much. Do you see how it's already getting lighter there? I just move the top layer a little bit, just barely to distribute it, because sometimes there's more on one side than the other since the pot heats unevenly. Now, when it turns brown, see here it's already getting golden. I'm going to move the pot a bit so it evens out and starts to get more golden on this side. We have to make sure it doesn't turn black, that it doesn't burn. 10 minutes have already passed for this one, so what I do is turn off the heat and let it rest for a few minutes. 5 minutes, 3 minutes, just a bit more until the heat subsides. Okay, now we can see it's getting more golden, so I move it now, I move it. Once you catch a subtle aroma, it's time to remove it. In my case, I have to cool it down quickly. I cool it down, but only because these stainless steel pots get really hot, and it would keep burning the caramel for a while, and I don't want that. In the meantime, let's strain what we have here. They're the bigger ones, and it's hard for me to strain them because we're going to use them again. We cut the cubes smaller. We'll reuse all of this. Now, very carefully, we're going to pour in the mixture. Be careful, it might splash. That's why we're doing it this way. We do it carefully. And as you saw, I waited for the caramel to cool down a little bit, otherwise it splashes everywhere again. We're going to add all the leaves we just removed to this. And we're going to leave it for 10 minutes, stirring it every now and then. 10 minutes have passed. I'm going to take out the bigger leaves like I did earlier, and now we're going to strain it. We're going to strain it now with a cheesecloth. There's a lot of syrup left in the ambi leaves, so it's better to squeeze them well. Let's do it step by step. We're going to add organic honey, like this, a tablespoon. We're also going to add propolis. Both the honey and the propolis are optional, but they will really boost this remedy.
Propolis, 1 teaspoon.
Now we mix them very well. One important thing is that when you add the honey, the syrup must already be at room temperature, almost cold. And now I'm going to show you in this glass what the consistency looks like. Check out the syrup's consistency. Now it's time to bottle it. For that, I'm going to use 2 little amber jars so it stays nice and dark. They're already clean, but what I do is pour a little bit of alcohol in them to make sure they're sanitized. Shake them thoroughly to disinfect. Let's fill them up. How are we going to use it? Can we use it? As adults, we are going to take a big spoonful. Every 4 or 6 hours, and for children, a small teaspoon every 4 or 6 hours as well. But for older children, starting from 7 years old. We are going to put it in the refrigerator. We keep it refrigerated in the refrigerator. We are going to put the label date on the little jar, and it will last us about a month and a half, even 2. Honestly, it can last a long time because it has sugar and it's made with sugar and honey. The combination of ambi and loquat leaves is a perfect synergy of nature, and each one provides very valuable properties. Ambi is actually Adenopus, the king or queen of the lung. It has been revered in traditional medicine for all its properties and for its powerful ability to relieve the respiratory system. And even modern science has begun to validate many of its properties. It is a natural expectorant, one of its most notable properties. That's why it's very useful for phlegm, for colds, for chronic catarrh. It's a bronchodilator and anti-inflammatory. As I was saying, it contains compounds like vitexin, which is a type of flavonoid, and it has other compounds that act as anti-inflammatories and bronchodilators. This means that it will help relax the muscles of the bronchi, making it easier to breathe and reducing inflammation in the airways. That's why it's considered a natural corticosteroid. It's one of the few that gives us great support in cases of asthma, bronchitis, pneumonia, lung infection, and pulmonary emphysema. Frankly, it's immensely useful. It's also antispasmodic. It helps to calm spasms, which is beneficial for irritating cough or spasmodic cough. It's very useful when there's fluid retention, and it's also a mild sedative for nerve problems. It is attributed with properties as a cardiac tonic and for reducing fever. Impressive. Now, loquat leaves are also highly valued in traditional medicine. They perfectly complement alambe and enhance the remedy. They are expectorant and antitussive. It will have a soothing effect on irritated mucous membranes, and this helps with both productive cough and dry cough. That discomfort and itchiness where relief feels out of reach. Well, that's where it creates that sedative, calming effect. But in addition, it's a rich source of tridopenic compounds and protectors of lung tissue, helping to modulate the body's response to reduce the excessive production of mucus. The loquat supports digestion and liver health. It has been traditionally used to improve digestion, reduce stomach discomfort, and protect the liver. That's why it's the ideal complement for this syrup, and these two herbs make it extremely potent. In addition to honey and propolis, which also contribute their own benefits, but are optional in this syrup. The main star is ambe, next comes loquat, which is excellent and optional, but to enhance it and make it the traditional way, we would add honey and propolis. Before we continue, I also want to tell you that you can do inhalations with ambe, and this will enhance the healing process. For example, well, how is it done? In a small pot, you're going to put about 1 liter or 1.5 liters of water, and you're going to add a handful of crushed ambe leaves, like the ones we use for the recipe. Let that water boil a little, and when it starts to release some steam, we can remove the pot from the heat for safety. Put a towel on ourselves. To receive all the steam, not get too close to the pot, and breathe in that steam. And we keep doing it, taking breaks, always being careful not to burn ourselves. You'll see how it clears up your airways. And it's almost magical. Now let's move on to the precautions or important considerations that you need to keep in mind. Although this syrup is traditionally safe at its recommended doses, as always, it's essential to use it with caution and wisdom. It will never replace a medical diagnosis. Use it as a supplement, as support. If symptoms persist or get worse, you should consult a healthcare professional. It will always be recommended if you are pregnant or breastfeeding not to use natural remedies, at least not without consulting your doctor first. And see if it's possible or not. What about in babies or very young children? The same goes for consulting a pediatrician before giving any natural remedy if you're taking medication. Also, if you happen to be allergic to any of these plants, you shouldn't take this syrup. And if you have diabetes, you shouldn't take it either, because this syrup has a lot of sugar. Although I mentioned that it's a heart tonic, people with pre-existing heart conditions should use it with caution or under medical supervision. Because of the sugar in the syrup, keep in mind that you should only take it when you're not feeling well. It's not something we're going to be consuming regularly or making part of our usual diet or nutrition. It's something exceptional. And did you know that there's a very simple way to prevent respiratory problems? Like colds, flu, runny nose, phlegm, and that they help you with everything else in your health? I'll leave you here my video on why you should drink a glass of water with lemon. Every day it changes your life. What did you think of this syrup? Please leave all the information I shared with you in the comments so I can read it. You can press and leave a thumbs up and share it with those people you feel this could really help.